Todd, I want to welcome you so much to this interview, and the fans are really going to enjoy an opportunity to meet you and talk to you a little bit. I'm going to just review, for their sake, the short but extensive history of all your accomplishments. You have 11 Breeders' Cup wins under your belt, 8 American Classics, 4 Canadian Triple Crowns, 42 major races won, 24 significant horses produced, and to the best of my knowledge, your favorite, which was probably your first, was the Shado. I think you mentioned that horse in your acceptance in the Hall of Fame. You have 7 Eclipse Awards Trainer of the Years. You're younger than me. I don't know how you did all this stuff, but somehow you did. You have a 25-year career with 22,839 starts, 5,203 winners, and purses of slightly over $400,000. 2021, you're inducted to the Racing Hall of Fame. Congratulations. You well deserve it.
Thank you.
Now the horse Shado, I'm just going to concentrate on that for a minute or two. That meant a lot to you because not only was it your first, it appears to have accomplished some of the most important things in racing all at the same time. It kind of catapulted you into fame. Maybe in your words, you can tell me the various things that Shado did. I can read them, but I'd rather hear it from you.
Well, she was one of the best horses that we've had, and she certainly, helped bring, our stable to that next level. She was our first Kentucky Oaks winner. She was our Breeders' Cup winner, and just to have a filly of that quality and to be a champion at 3 and 4 and eventually be inducted into Racing Hall of Fame. She was a very special filly that like I said, kind of established that our stable could produce winners at the very highest level.
Well, the only thing we have in common is I started in the barn too. I started walking hots for Johnny Campo in 1971 at Belmont Park in now the new barn that Siaka's in. But anyway, I never believed that I'd end up doing what I'm doing. And I believe that in your acceptance speeches and everything else, I don't think you would have dreamed to accomplish everything you dreamed, but I think your dreams are bigger than what you ever dreamt, which is amazing. And it's a pleasure to know you. That horse Shado won over $4 million and then went to the Keeneland sales and made another $900 million. And part of this is not only the value in the stakes purses and performance, but the future value of all these horses as you keep making families go stronger and stronger. It's amazing how it catapults into stupendous numbers. Now, you have a few horses in the Breeders' Cup, and one of them stands out as potentially another Shado or maybe close, and that's Malathaat. She's in the distaff, and I'd like you to tell me in some of your own words what that means to you, what her credentials were, and maybe even a little bit about her breeding, because it's phenomenal.
Yeah, she's a world-class filly. I first saw her at the Keeneland September yearling sale, and actually she was my first draft choice. I tried to put together a partnership to purchase her, which we failed at the time. We were underbidders at $1 million. She sold the Shadwell stable for $1,050,000. She's by Curlin, 2-time horse of the year, and she's out of a filly that we trained named Dreaming of Julia, who was a Grade 1 winner by AP Indy. So I knew the family well, and she was a tremendous physical. We loved her. Fortunately, we weren't able to get her. As it turned out, my friend Kieran McLaughlin retired from training. He was going to get the filly for Shadwell, and when he retired to take over Luis Saez's book, we ended up picking up the filly. So we were delighted to get her. She trained exceptionally well before her debut at Belmont, but she won going 7 furlongs. Second start, she won the Tempted at a mile, graded stake for 2-year-old fillies, and then she won the Demoiselle in her final start. First 2 starts at 3 were Grade 1 win in the Ashland at Keeneland, followed up by the Kentucky Oaks, and then she also won the Alabama Stakes at Saratoga. So we go into the distaff now, and she's a tremendous filly, great pedigree, terrific mind, easy to train, and just a total pro. So we're blessed to have her, and we're looking forward to the distaff.
The amazing observation I've made over the years, because I've been around, not as a veterinarian, but at the tracks in '71, is the difference in culture. Back then, many of the blue blood families, they didn't let their goods stock out. So it's amazing. You've got a mare here that's by Curlin, who was trained by Steve Asmussen, who you're going to be competing against in various races. In the old days, the families kept them. So Penny Tweedy had to approach Hancock of Claiborne and ask permission to breed the Bold Ruler with her mare, Something Royal. So nowadays, it's like trading cards. You guys are picking up on the winners from others, and they're doing that for you. Some of your superstars end up being stallions for your competition. It's quite an interesting contrast in how the sport has progressed, we'll call it.
Yeah, it's definitely a more commercial market now than it was then. And, Stone Street, who bred the filly and are majority owners of Curlin and own the mare, they also operate as a commercial breeder. And so, when you can sell one for $1,050,000, sometimes you have to do it. But, like I said, we're fortunate to have gotten her.
Well, that's what caused Penny Tweedy to send Secretariat to stud. She needed the finances to pay for all the operations. I'm throwing a little bit of a curveball at you. I don't think you'll be totally upset with me, but you don't have a horse in the Classic this year. I'm hoping that you would be able to give me your opinion, handicap a little bit some of the horses in it, especially since you don't have to tout your own horse. Maybe you can give me, from an outsider's very knowledgeable perspective, how do you see this race lining up?
Well, from what I understand, I haven't seen all the pre-entries yet. I think they're due out tomorrow morning, but I project there's going to be a field of around 10, and Knicks Go will likely be the favorite. I think the real key to the race is just the pace scenario. Knicks Go is a free-running horse. He's going to go to the lead, and then it's going to depend on who's willing to try to go with him, put some pressure on him. You got some good 3-year-olds like Medina Spirit, who often, is towards the front. Hot Rod Charlie's in good form. He likes to lay close, and then, Central Quality can put himself in a good stalking position. So it's like always a blend of the best 3-year-olds meeting the older horses, and historically the 3-year-olds have fared very well in the Classic. So to me, it's really about the pace of the race and who's willing to put some pressure on Knicks Go. If he gets away with easy fractions, he's going to be hard to catch.
And we've got two super conditioning trainers with Asmussen and Mott. Depending upon what kind of horse they bring to the race that day, anything could happen. So some of the people at the track have said this has got to be one of the most exciting Breeders' Cup Classics that they've seen in a while. Of course, that every year it appears that way, but this year it appears to be especially stocked with talent. As far as
it's like always, the Breeders' Cup brings together the best of the best, and not only from the U.S. but all over the world, and so it's always an exciting time to have all the best trainers and jockeys and horses from overseas as well.
As far as some of your other horses, I know that some of them are provisional as far as the entry, and tomorrow it's supposed to come out. I'm not asking you for any information that you're not willing to display, but I took a look. At least 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 horses appear to be coming out of your barn. You want to pick maybe an order, 1 or 2 or 3 of them that you wouldn't mind discussing a little bit about, and why you think they're there and have a decent shot at doing something for you?
Well, I feel really good about the whole team we're bringing. We're bringing some horses that are coming off good wins or good productive races in their last start, and been training well. We'll have 2 horses coming into the juvenile colts that both finished second in their last starts, but I think have room for improvement. And that's a Command Performance, who in his second start was a good closing second in the Champagne. We'll have Double Thunder, who we're going to add blinkers to. He was second in the Breeders' Futurity after getting away to a poor start. So I think there's room for improvement with both of those colts. We'll run 2 in the Dirt Mile with Life is Good coming off an impressive win in the Kelso. Mind Control winning the Parks Mile. So very pleased with the way they're both doing it coming into it. And you spoke about Malathaat. We're really pleased with her. And so we've been pointing for the distaff since she won the Alabama. And so we're excited about those. And then we have Annapolis, who's going in the juvenile turf. He's 2 for 2, coming off a good win in the Pilgrim. The one we haven't decided for sure on yet is Following C, coming off a win in the Vosburg. We pre-entered him in the sprint. We haven't decided for sure if we're going to go there, possibly wait for the Cigar Mile. But so I feel good about the way everyone's coming into their races and seem to be training well. We're also have entered a filly named Nest, who's only had one start. She was impressive in her debut, and we entered her in the juvenile fillies, pre-entered, I should say, to take a look and see. We might take a shot with her, and if I think the field size is only going to be 8 or 9 in there, which is a few less than you'd normally see in that race.
Well, full circle back to the pedigree story. One thing I meant to say and I forgot was, you and Kieran McLaughlin go back a long way too with D. Wayne Lucas. You were proteges of his and each equaled or surpassed some of his accomplishments, but will always, I'm sure, remember him as a grandmaster that helped train you. And from my perspective, believe it or not, I go back and I'm looking at these pedigrees, and I worked on a couple of the great grandsires of these, and I can't believe the time has flown, but that's what happens when you live a decent life and you get to be older. Anyway, having said all that, we wish you the best, and it doesn't sound like you're going to make a pick for the Classic. That you gave us pretty much a broad spectrum, possibly because you're not quite sure yet. The race has to be run probably also because you know all these guys personally, but whoever wins, we just hope it's a great race day. I'm sure the crowds are going to be turning in to watch this and to watch you. And I greatly appreciate you taking the time out of your barn the night before the draw to give us this update. I thank you so much.
Absolutely. My pleasure.